Trevor Noah's highly anticipated appearance on the Kelly Clarkson Show took a shocking turn that no one least of all the live studio audience saw coming. Invited to promote his latest book and upcoming stand-up tour, Trevor initially engaged in light banter with Kelly, discussing travel mishaps, favorite karaoke songs, and their shared love for blending humor with heart. But things quickly shifted when the conversation veered into deeper territory. Kelly, known for her candid style, brought up a recent controversial segment from Trevor's comedy special one that tackled political hypocrisy in America. What began as a friendly inquiry soon escalated into pointed critique, with Kelly asking whether Trevor ever worried the jokes could cross lines in a time when tensions are already high. Trevor, visibly surprised but composed, responded that comedy's role was to challenge and confront, not to conform. "If I can't tell the truth with humor, what's left? Silence," said with a wry smile. But Kelly pressed further, questioning whether satire sometimes made people feel mocked rather than heard, particularly when discussing cultural or racial issues. That's when the tone shifted. Trevor's smile faded, and his voice lowered. "What you're really asking is if I should make my voice smaller, so people feel more comfortable," he said slowly. "And I've spent my whole life fighting the idea that truth should come second to comfort." The audience, sensing the rising tension, fell silent. Kelly tried to walk it back, but the air had changed. Trevor unclipped his microphone, stood up, and said, "I respect this platform, but I won't sit here and justify why I exist the way I do." And just like that, he walked off. The reaction was instant and overwhelming. Social media lit up with clips of the moment, splitting the internet into passionate factions, those who praised Trevor for standing his ground, and those who criticized him for overreacting on live television. Hashtags like #TeamTrevor and #respect the stage trended within hours. Meanwhile, Kelly's team issued a neutral tone statement, saying the show welcomes all voices and regrets any discomfort caused, but stopped short of apologizing. Within the entertainment world, publicists and creatives began rethinking what kind of platforms they wanted their clients to appear on. The quiet consensus among many was that Trevor hadn't been looking for a confrontation. He had been caught off guard, and chose dignity over appeasement. Several fellow comedians spoke out in support, with Hazen Minhaj tweeting, "Satire is how we survive." Trevor didn't walk out, he walked up. As for Trevor, he didn't engage in the social media firestorm. He skipped his next round of press and instead posted a single quote from James Baldwin to his Instagram story, "I am not your Negro." It said everything without saying anything at all. Though the dust eventually settled, the moment stayed etched into the minds of viewers. It's not just as a clash of personalities, but as a flashpoint in the ongoing dialogue about race, voice, and who truly gets to speak freely even on a talk show that started with nothing more than a few laughs and a song. Asterisk in the days following Trevor Noah's walk-off from the Kelly Clarkson Show. The entertainment industry was abuzz with behind-the-scenes chatter about what really led to the breakdown in communication. Sources close to both camps revealed that while the interview was supposed to be light and celebratory, a last-minute producer decision to dig deeper into Trevor's political material blindsided both parties. Trevor's team reportedly expressed concern prior to the taping about staying focused on the book and tour, but that note hadn't fully translated to the production floor. Kelly, trying to maintain her trademark balance of warmth and honesty, leaned into a line of questioning she believed would open thoughtful discussion. But what unfolded was a cultural and emotional collision one, where two sincere people simply misread each other's intentions in real time. Trevor, whose comedy often walks the line between global perspective and personal experience, seemed to feel that his identity and message were being subtly undermined. His choice to walk off wasn't just about that moment, it symbolized decades of being asked to explain, justify, or tone down his truth to fit within a palatable frame. And for many watching, especially those from marginalized communities, his quiet exit felt like a form of empowerment. He didn't lash out, didn't grandstand, just stood up, reclaimed his space, and walked away. The power in that gesture, its calm finalities, parked conversations in classrooms, conference rooms, and living rooms about how often people are asked to shrink themselves in public spaces just to be accepted. Kelly Clarkson, for her part, addressed the incident with grace on the following day's show. In a heartfelt monologue, she admitted that while her intentions were never to offend or corner her guest, she now understood that intention doesn't always equal impact. I respect Trevor. I respect his voice. And I respect that he chose himself in that moment, she said, her voice steady but sincere. The audience applauded, and that moment of humility helped ease some of the backlash she had faced online. Still, the ripple effect from the walk-off didn't fade quickly. Daytime talk shows, long perceived as safe havens for celebrities promoting their latest work, now faced a new wave of scrutiny. Were they offering true conversations, or just entertainment disguised as depth? Were guests genuinely being heard, or being shaped to fit into a convenient, feel-good format? Trevor's refusal to stay and explain himself marked a shift in how stars, especially those with sharp political or cultural viewpoints, would approach publicity. He returned to the stage weeks later in a sold-out stand-up performance, opening with, "So I was on this talk show the other day," for about 10 minutes. The audience roared with laughter, and Trevor, ever the alchemist of tension into truth, turned a moment of discomfort into another story worth telling, not out of bitterness, but clarity. In walking off that stage, Trevor didn't burn a bridge. He illuminated the pathway for others who, like him, refused to compromise their voice for applause. Asterisk, as media outlets continued dissecting Trevor Noah's walk-off from the Kelly Clarkson Show, the deeper implications of the moment began to take root far beyond daytime television. Critics and cultural commentators pointed out that this wasn't simply a matter of a guest disagreeing with a host. It was about the growing demand for authenticity in public discourse, especially from figures like Trevor, who are often expected to soften their message for broad appeal. Trevor, whose comedic voice has always been tied to global consciousness and the politics of identity, became a symbol for a new generation of artists who are no longer willing to dilute their perspectives for the comfort of others. The footage of him gently setting down his mic, saying, "This isn't why I came here," and calmly exiting stage left was replayed on countless platforms. But it wasn't just the act, it was the silence that followed. He didn't tweet a defense. He didn't give interviews. He let the moment speak for itself. And in that silence, many heard volumes. From late-night hosts to university professors, people began using the moment as a case study in emotional boundaries, dignity, under pressure, and the cost of telling hard truths in spaces not always designed to receive them. While some outlets framed the event as diva behavior or unprofessional, the more thoughtful response came from viewers who recognized the quiet strength it takes to walk away without burning down the room behind you. Inside the entertainment industry, the Trevor Kelly moment triggered a chain reaction among talk show bookers, PR agencies, and celebrity teams. Booking producers were suddenly faced with new demands from publicists who insisted on tighter content guardrails and real-time interview approvals. A few A-list guests even backed out of scheduled appearances on shows where they feared being caught off guard. Kelly Clarkson herself, though caught in the middle of the backlash, responded with a level of accountability that softened much of the tension. She followed up with a video message posted to her social media, acknowledging the emotional complexity of the moment. "I didn't realize how much weight my questions carried," she said. "I hear you. I hear him. I'm going to do better." That statement, paired with her show's brief hiatus and format recalibration, led to a slow restoration of her public goodwill. Meanwhile, Trevor's reputation only grew, not just as a comedian or political voice, but as someone unwilling to be reduced to a soundbite. At his next appearance in Independent Book Festival, he was welcomed with a standing ovation before he even said a word. When the moderator gently referenced the walk-off, Trevor smiled and replied, "Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, 'No thank you.'" That quote was instantly shared across social platforms, printed on protest signs, and even spray-painted on murals. It was clear that Trevor hadn't just walked out of a show, he had stepped into a bigger role as a voice of reason, resistance, and self-respect in a world that too often mistakes silence for agreement. Asterisk.